And on to our first guest of the podcast. We are joined by someone who's a member of a team that Gary's not too fond of, and he'll probably probe him with a little bit with a couple of questions. We are delighted to be joined by fourth place, which is probably, for no disrespect at all, a lot higher than what we anticipated, and probably what he anticipated so far this season. We are joined by QVR Boo Verstappen.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you today? How are you doing on this fine Monday?
Doing quite well. Just a very relaxed day, so I'm ready for your questions.
What have you been up to today then? What does fourth place in Division 1 get up to on a Monday?
Not much, as I'm on a holiday, so it's just very relaxed. I moved to a new bedroom, so helps some stuff with that. But
alright, well, fair enough. Cool. Right. Well, look, we wanted to get you on to ask you some questions about your season, about how it's gone so far, and I suppose let's just start off with the obvious one. Your highlight. What's been your highlight of this season so far?
Well, it's gonna be quite obvious, but it's gonna be the race win in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Never expected to win a race this season, so at that point I just it was a full surprise, as you could probably hear in the reaction I posted. Yeah.
Well, and that was it. And I mean, I think, to be fair, a majority of the people in the world are very happy for you. There's a few,
majority.
Dodgy souls out there. But everyone in the league, I think, was overjoyed. I think, to be honest, and you obviously had the support of your teammates. I mean, what does being part of QVR? This is one where Gary's ears will prick up. What do you feel that being part of QVR kind of brings to the table for you and for the other members as well?
Well, there's a lot of things. Obviously, we share data, setups, strategies, and whatnot with each other on track. Other than that, it's just a good group of friends. We interact outside of league racing as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's become a real family. And, it's helped me improve. It's helped me as well in real life to just talk with people. And as an introvert, I feel like it's really helped me to open up. If you get what I mean?
Yeah. Still don't like QVR though.
Gary, a particular question you want to ask?
Yeah. You say family, QVR is a family, but I got stabbed in the back by QVR. Not mentioning any names, Campbell. So what was the thought process going for a driver like Cookie? I don't like. Is it just to piss me off, or?
Yeah. No, definitely not Gary.
No, I'm joking.
No, we just we see a lot of potential in him. Fast driver, as you know.
Not as fast as me.
And well, that's bound to change, but anyways, he's just like it's very clean, and we feel like he fits in with the group, and that's why we kind of kept our eye on him and eventually asked him to join.
That's fair enough.
What got you into league racing as a whole? What attracted you to it, and what was the? Can you remember?
Yeah, I can remember. I was on Twitter and I saw some advertisement from ERL. If you still know that league doesn't exist anymore, but it was I think it was QVR Chill who put an ad, and I was like, oh, why not? was at the beginning of 2018. So I was like, why not try this? And from there, I just went on and joined multiple leagues, and eventually also LOE.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's basically what got me into league racing.
Okay.
Interesting.
Oh, cool.
And I know we talked about how your season's gone so far. Like, did you expect to get a win this season? Did you even expect a podium? Like, what were the aims coming into this season? And I'm sure you've already exceeded what you set out to do at the start of the season. So, have you set yourself any new goals, any new targets for the rest of the season?
Well, coming into the season, I was expecting like maybe a top 10 classification in the standings, really.
Yeah.
With maybe a very lucky podium, but it turned out it's
A very lucky win.
yeah.
Nah, joke.
Nah, fourth place I didn't really expect that, and for a while I was second place in the standings even after Spain. So coming into the season, not expecting this, but now I feel like I have the potential to stay with that top 5.
Yeah.
Of course, for as far as Ireland, Louis maybe looking to get up the standings quite quickly. And you got Montana as well up there, who's always consistent. I think Alpha is added to the reach at the moment.
Yeah.
I think top 5 should be possible for the championship.
Nice. Be interesting to see how you get on.
And if you could have one member of LOE, your Game Boys for a day, if you could have one member of LOE join QVR, who would it be?
Sorry.
No idea, really. Let me think about that a bit. You can't deny Ibo has the
Hey boy, yeah.
has personality to join QVR, but doesn't seem like the person to join a team.
Yeah, perhaps, maybe not.
He will be the
I'll go with
godfather.
him.
He'd be the
I'll go
godfather.
You've gone with Ivo. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he's finished more races in the last 2 seasons than Cookie,
Yeah.
so
I mean, that's not hard given Cookie's fucking record, is it? Let's be real.
you know, obviously that's a big factor. We play top trumps. What has Ivo got on Cookie? He was last year's LOE Constructors Champion.
Probably got more points than Cookie last season.
I don't. It might have been. in all
Man,
seriousness, it might have been
it could have been close. I'm not even joking.
But yeah, well, there you go. I mean, and I suppose the big question I would have for you being so young, obviously, I don't know if everyone's aware. Obviously, you're 15. You will probably only improve in various different aspects of everything that comes to do with league racing. The mentality, which I know you know from speaking to you, I know you've got a very old head on young shoulders. What would you like to achieve, whether just around league racing, if anything, really, in the next, let's say, 2 years? What would be a goal for you?
Well, geez, that's a hard question. Probably just to keep enjoying league racing as a whole. And I think with a community as LOE, that's definitely possible. And with the lads of QVR around me as well. So I want to keep the enjoyment in it. There's been in the community a lot of drivers who are like losing interest after a couple of years, and some criticism at the game as well, which I don't like. In my opinion, I don't really agree with that. But yeah, just keep enjoyment in racing and go have fun out there, basically.
That's it.
Yeah.
And
Cool. Sorry, sorry,
Yeah, I think maybe just to finish it off. So we've done 6 rounds so far. I think we have another what? 10, 13 rounds to go. How would you rate your season out of 10 so far?
Rating out of 10. I'm gonna say a 9.5. It's been
Yeah, I'd have to
really
agree.
exceeded. With the only minor point being basically Australia.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say besides that's been pretty flawless from you and the rest of the QVR guys, except Dan, of course, who, as I said before, I think he must be a little bit salty given how well the other QVR members are doing.
Yeah.
With you and
I saw him in
Campbell.
Spain.
Yeah.
Spain, he was a bit unlucky.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, he's definitely had this bit unlucky, but seeing you win in Spain and then Campbell win in Monaco must be hard for him to take.
Yeah,
so
the
he's
last winner of D1 in France. You remember that?
yeah, but he's jumped ship to iRacing, so I don't
Yeah,
think we've
fair
seen.
enough.
I don't think we see him winning around France. You never know, though.
Yeah, you never know. I still think he can get a good result.
Oh,
A
definitely.
few good results actually, and I'm hoping for him he can do that as well.
Cool. One last question. I'll see if we can revisit this on the at the end of the season, actually, because I think it'd be quite interesting. Or actually, in 2 seasons' time, potentially.
Ooh.
Your prediction for the real life Formula One. Who's going to win the title? Who's going to win the constructors? And who's going to be bottom of the constructors without Williams?
I feel like Hamilton's gonna pick up the 7th title.
Hey, get out! Get away from me, man.
But I reckon Ferrari will pick up the constructors. I feel like it's gonna be a really close year.
Okay.
I don't think Bottas is up to the task to challenge the Ferrari guys in that. And bottom of the constructors, without Williams, that is. I'm gonna say Renault. They've not had their car ready, which doesn't seem promising, and I don't know. I feel like it's not gonna be a good year for them.
Okay. It's interesting. I suppose with the late car and that.
Well, like, there's been well, I don't know if you've seen them. There's been leaked images on Twitter of the car. Like they were driving it around Spain, I think it was.
Yeah, I've seen some.
I don't know if they're like just hiding the car or if they just didn't have it completed. So I'm not too sure.
Well, no, Renault.
We'll see anyway, won't we?
Yeah, very, very bizarre times for them. And who wins? You can answer as many or as few as these as you like, depending on how much you know about the divisions. Who wins the title in every single division in LOE from D1 to D4?
D1, I gotta say it's gonna be Alphatrix. D2 is gonna be difficult. And that's especially for you, Gary, because I feel like a certain man from Slovenia is
Right,
gonna...
can I just say something here, right? If Cookie wasn't in QVR, you'd be saying I'm winning this. You would. That's just a fact.
That's not the universe.
Oh, man.
And what I'm saying, Cookie for that one. D3, I'm gonna say Brie. Team Brie. Let's
Team
go.
Brie. Let's go.
D4.
If you know.
I think Jasper's near the top.
Yeah,
Is he?
Jasper or Rajon.
Yeah, I feel like
one
he's
of those
gonna.
two.
I feel like Jasper's gonna take that.
Okay. Cool. Well, it's been a pleasure. I wish you a lot of luck for the rest of the season. I'm sure Gary wishes you some luck for the rest of the season. But yeah, no, thanks for coming on. We'll revisit everyone's picks. I'll need to make a spreadsheet of these and just make sure we record them and see who is the most accurate. And there we go. But cool. Thank you ever so
Thank
much
you.
for coming on.
Yeah, been a pleasure, and well, I hope I have a good season, and wish you guys luck as well.
Appreciated.
Thank you, dude. And on to our next guest, someone who is slightly a bit older, slightly less PC, and slightly more annoying, particularly last season. He's alright now. But he is in D2, and he's rapidly improving back to where he probably feels like he should be. But it's taken a bit of time. It is B. Morgan here on the podcast, the reigning constructors champion for Division 2. How are you doing?
Okay.
Alright, fair. That's alright. So, on that note, how has your season been so far? Talk us through it.
Not great fun. I knew it was going to be difficult when I made the switch to Will, and I think I probably could have begged my way into D3, given my pace at the start.
At the start, maybe.
In
Yeah,
hindsight,
But,
yeah.
well,
potentially.
like
yeah.
your
But
pace,
then-
your pace is getting better now. You know what I mean? So
It's getting better. I think my quality pace is close, maybe
Yeah.
within like a couple tenths of what it was. But my race pace is still probably about 5 tenths a lap, I'd say.
yeah,
And
that's
it's fine.
usually the hardest thing to get back on the wheel is the race pace. That's what I
Yeah,
found that out
true.
as well. It's
To
very
be fair, I
difficult.
probably haven't put as much time in as I could have.
Yeah.
And where I'm only racing this league,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not exactly getting huge amounts of practice in. But overall, not bad. But it's
And
doing
how
okay.
many points do you have this season?
Oh wait, let me get the fingers out. Oh wait, yeah, that's right, 0. Yeah, it's
You don't have 0 points. Do you actually
Yeah.
have 0 points?
Yeah, he has 0 points.
Oh.
That's why I asked him.
what is that, round 6?
Jeez. Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Big W has more points than me.
Fuck, man, you need to change. You need to change that.
They'll come.
But then, no, but it just shows though, because I've been probably, I'd say, similar pace with Adri at most tracks, but where he's just made it work in the races and picked the right strategy or whatever,
Yeah.
he's on like 25 points.
Yeah,
or whatever.
well, I'll tell you now. He's on
18, I think?
18. Yeah.
Yeah, which is like
Yeah.
where I could be if
Yeah.
I made some good
But
calls
you
like
have,
him.
yeah, you've been quite unlucky actually. To be fair.
I won't say unlucky. There's a point where you can make it on luck, but I've just been shit.
At least you're honest. At least you're honest.
I'm not gonna bullshit and say and blame it on luck, but yeah.
What do you think? I suppose I'm not going to ask you for your highlight because that just seems like a little bit of being a
depressing.
cheeky prick. But what do you think will be your goal come the end of the season? Is it like, because it's hard. I know what it's like to be, even in this division, but probably worse so 2 seasons ago, in a division where you feel like you're not. It's hard to stay motivated. Like you have to
Yeah.
kind of give yourself a goal.
That's how I was like in D1 last season as well. I mean, like the
Yeah.
only way is up for you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like
true.
I'm sure once you get that first point, you'll start to go on a roll.
Yeah. I think no, I don't know if it's too ambitious, but probably my goal would be to like try and match Dan by the end, like coming towards the end of the season, like pace wise.
Yeah.
Then that'll be roughly about where I was before, and then I'd be happy. I think that'd be a good stepping stone for
Yeah.
going into the next game.
Definitely. Well, you need to set aims, obviously. So Dan's not a bad person to base yourself off.
A question I kind of have actually would be what got you into league racing? When did you actually start league racing?
F120. Wait, we're on 2019 right now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would have been F1 2017. At the midway through that, it's through YouTube somehow. I don't remember how.
I think. Do you know what? Ironically, I think that's exactly the same as me. I think I was looking up how to get quicker on setups or something, and I think I've bumped into like TRL Limitless.
Yeah, I had no idea what it was before that. I had no idea it existed. I didn't think you could touch multiplayer apart from 5 lappers before that. And then found AOR from that,
Yeah.
and then I was put in a league with Mike there. So that, yeah, that shows the improvement. Came second in my debut season there. Then joined SRL, which was a shit show.
I think I was there before.
I don't think I was there when you was there, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was a shit show. Shout out RJ.
Oh, okay.
maybe it wasn't that league then if RJ was in it.
No, I'm only joking. I left just because I was too slow for that league. And then oh yeah, 'cause that's it. In AOR, I was with Karkinen,
Yeah.
and then he pestered me a couple times to join PRL, and I was just like, no, the day's not good. Like, I had too much going on whatever day it was back then. And then eventually my life got boring, as usual, and I thought, what more can I do with my Sunday nights or whatever than sit indoors playing F1? So I signed up for PRL,
Yeah.
and I think it's only the last 3 races.
Yes.
I remember my first race was in Singapore, got Dave bombed.
Dave bombed. Good old Dave.
Second race, got James bombed in Japan, and then I did a race in the
D3.
yeah,
That's like-
and I did. Yeah, that's when you was winning.
We didn't win the whole thing, did he?
Yeah, that's true.
The thing is, when you joined, everyone was saying how rapid you was, and I saw your results, and I was like, actually, this guy's alright. And then you joined, and then you had a couple of bad races. It was, I think you got quite unlucky. Yeah, like I remember this, and because Karkinen was like, no, this guy's really good. And then I remember thinking, not that good. And then obviously the following season, you ended up staying down there, and then obviously doing really well, and then kind of kicked on. So, bit of an odd one actually. It's probably the first. It's interesting. It's probably the first season that you've had a downward trajectory in pace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, this division, D2, it's stacked. Like, it is a tough division. So,
Oh yeah, I wish
yeah.
I was on pad. Like, it would be so good.
I'd say you'd be right up there if you were on pad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll be walking it.
Yeah. What? Well, calm
I
down there,
think he'd be
mate.
up there.
Yeah.
I think he would be up there.
I think he'd be up there. Yeah, he'd be up there. Definitely.
Quicker than Dan, and Dan's in third.
Yeah.
I think that he had the pace edge at the back end of last season, which was quite awkward, probably. How was that actually?
Well,
How was that
In what
being?
sense?
Well, like obviously he was in a title race, and
But he
you
finished
did
third.
have a slight. Well, I know Morgan was for a long time, but then it got down to two horse race, didn't it, for the last couple of races? Like,
Yeah.
did you kind of plan to help Dan, or was it very much just no? I'm just going to get the best results for what I can do.
If I was in a situation where I could, so like if I was in a situation where he was right behind me, I'd let him pass.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to like go into my races prioritising him. Do you know what I mean? Like,
No.
we're all there to win, so
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to do. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what one of the constructors. So can't complain.
You two seem to have a good conversation, good pairing. So, like, do you enjoy each other's company? Like, do you be in parties together for races, or?
Well, in the first season in D3,
Yeah.
I think we maybe had one conversation together ever.
Uh huh.
And then as soon as we both moved up to D2, he just messaged me like, "Oh, yeah, do you want to be teammates?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." Because at this point I like knew no one else in D2. So
Yeah.
and then from there on, yeah, we're in parties every race, and he's good with like setups and stuff, so he'll help out. I'm not as helpful. But yeah, so that's it pretty much.
Interesting fact, actually, I tried to team up with Ben this season,
Did you?
and he rejected me for Dan.
Dan literally messaged me the day before saying like, "Yeah, do you want to be teammates for next season as well?"
Oh dear. Well,
Well, Nico, you're always first choice. You're always first choice, Nico.
look.
You're...
Look how lucky it turned out for you.
I know. Just dodged a bullet.
this is just like a series of awkward. I don't know what Ryjon's going to do to annoy you, or upset you on this podcast.
You'll probably take me out in F2 later.
Yeah, there you go. They're talking about actually. Why are you so good at F2?
Was.
What?
Was. I mean, but you were incredible on pad. Like genuinely, like really quick. But what is it about those cars that made you so much like quicker than guys that in F1 might be deemed as quicker back last season especially?
I don't. Who was I racing? I don't think I was racing against anyone like ridiculously quick though, was I?
No, probably not. I mean, Killer at the time was a lot more.
We don't talk about Killer. Poor lad. Poor lad.
Yeah, he was in it a few times, and he just couldn't believe how quick you were in particular.
I think it's mainly because pad gives you the traction in them is completely different.
Yeah.
I think in pad you can just get on the traction way quicker, and also last season you could use setups. So I think a lot of people just go in without a setup, and I'd actually just spend 5 minutes taking a setup from time trial, which felt decent.
Yeah.
But apart from that, it's just, I don't know. I think I wouldn't say I prefer the handling in them cars, but it just feels a lot more raw, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, they are a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I feel
yeah.
like you've got a lot more feeling for
Yeah.
what's actually going on.
And you've got to be so much more careful out of corners.
Yeah, because once you lose it, you lose it.
Yeah, you're not getting it back.
Yeah. Did this with Verstappen. I'm just try. Hopefully, everyone who does it will do the same thing. Your predictions for the drivers' champion for the actual Formula 1 season coming up, and your constructors, and also the last place team without Williams.
Right now. Do you want me to answer with my heart or my head?
Your heart.
Whatever.
I know your heart is saying Sebastian Vettel.
Yeah,
That's
my
fine.
heart is saying Sebastian Vettel.
Yes, my man.
However, my mind is telling me stop being a
Don't.
fucking idiot.
Don't.
It's not gonna happen,
Don't.
and it's gonna be
No.
Lewis Hamilton.
Fuck off.
It's just nothing much is gonna change from last season, really. I don't think. Personally,
What about constructors?
I think it's a bit. Actually, Bottas could just completely self-implode. I would love to see that.
Oh, that'd be great.
So in that case, I'm gonna say Ferrari constructors. Even though I reckon Hamilton's gonna win the drivers, but Bottas is gonna have an abysmal year, and Ferrari are gonna win the constructors. And last place team,
Yep.
bar Williams.
Except Williams. Yeah.
Alfa Romeo.
Okay. That's slightly different. And finally, as many as you know, it doesn't matter if you don't know, if you literally don't know, don't worry. Who's going to win D1, D2, D3 and D4 this season?
Oh, I've not looked at the stands in D1. None of the QPR lot.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. In any division.
Who's actually? Oh wait, yeah, there's
Alphatrix.
Alphatrix. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
If he stays for a whole season and whatnot, then yeah. D2, not Gary or Cookie.
What?
What was that? Yeah, because you're.
It's trying to be
He's in your head
alternative.
already. It's round 6, and
Yeah.
he's in your head.
Who's in my head?
Cookie's in your head. The whole of
Cookie is
QBR
not in my
your
head. No, they're not. I'm in their
Campbell
head.
used you for 6 races.
Yeah, Campbell's
for
a
intel.
cunt. Campbell's a cunt.
He was on a spy mission.
That's what I know exactly what he's doing. He got intel and then fucked off.
But in all honesty, if Gary puts the hours in, like he has been,
Grazie.
I
Grazie.
think he would. Yeah, if
When?
not, then Dan will win it on consistency. D3, I have to back Bree.
Yes.
He's free. And D4, Rajon, I can't pronounce that, but him.
And he's on
He's on there.
later
Oh
in the
god,
podcast.
I can't say his name.
I'm going to call him Raj and then ask him how to say his name.
I was gonna say
think that's
Raj.
probably the best
yeah.
way. But no, cool. Anything else to add? I mean, you obviously were quite shocked about the about Cookiegate, as you'll call it.
Not shocked as me. Not shocked as me.
I mean, I thought it was a joke.
So
when
did
someone
I.
said that he joined it. And
No, I seen it
I
on
didn't see
Twitter.
it. And then I went on Twitter at first and I didn't see it. And I thought, oh yeah, haha, funny joke. And then, like a couple of hours later, I check again and I thought, wait, are we in a simulation?
I don't know what's going through their mind. What's going through Game Boy's mind to get Cookie? The most least consistent driver in all of LOE.
Well,
Oh.
there you go. But we'll have more news on that, I dare say, in the next few weeks. And we'll probably talk about that, I dare say, at some point else during this podcast. But we'll see. But yeah, any last thoughts, Morgan?
No.
No, fair.
I was trying to think of something funny, but I can't.
What would you rate your season out of 10? But like, I didn't want to ask this because whatever you rate is how many. It's more than the points you have this season. So
Wow.
that was actually dark. That was.
I'll
mean.
remember that. Next time you pit and you come up behind me.
Mate, you didn't let me pass twice this season when I was behind you. You killed me in Bahrain.
Yeah, we all fight for our places.
Came out
But in Bahrain there was no walls.
demolition derby.
Actually, no, in France there's no walls either.
Exactly.
But I will knock you into a wall.
Oh, please don't.
Be rare.
Yeah, him and Adri give absolutely no call. I hope it's not just me, but whenever I try and get past them two, no chance. It's like
I'll let you buy easy in Canada.
I'm trying to think. That was on DRS though.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you haven't really got much input in that, have you? Right? It's just not. But yes, well. So don't expect any favours from if he is at the back of the grid.
When
From
he's
this
at the back
guy.
of the grid.
You have to fight for position. It's more rewarding.
I
It's not
agree.
fun if you're just playing time trial with cars getting out your way every other lap.
No, I agree.
That's why ghosting should be off. Blue flags used to be amazing.
Oh my god, no.
You'd be on wets in Germany and there'd be cars on slicks a lap down and you'd have to try and get past them. Oh, it's amazing.
Oh, no.
I don't have that
I
fun.
agree. I actually agree. That's because I'm not near the top. There we go.
So yeah,
Right.
yeah, when you're at the back, you have to get those. You have to find the rewarding parts of racing,
Oh yeah,
and that is
completely.
to ruin others' races.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, ruin other people's races.
He's not wrong.
No, I agree.
Right. Well, that I suppose will be that. But no, thank you for coming on. And yeah, good luck for the rest of the season. I do mean it. Don't get
Yeah,
too
good
much
luck.
better.
You're gonna need it.
Oh. Well, there we are. But no, cool. Thanks for coming on, man.
Cheers.
Pleasure.
And on to our final guest of the podcast. So this gentleman is new to LOE in the sense that this is his first and then debut season. He drives in the Renault, and he's making it his absolute goal to deny Jasper a first ever title.
Frank
within
won't be
LOE.
happy. Frank won't be happy.
Frank will not be happy. But I'm going to say Raj. I want you to say the name, because I don't want to mispronounce your name. So how are we saying your name, Raj?
It would be Rajayon, but
Rajayon.
yeah, Rajayon. But I have heard so many people now say Raj in this league that I am going with Raj for most.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say Rajayan because I'm going to try and be cool and fair. But no, cool. It's good to have you on, my man. Yeah, obviously you are on a stonking 113 points, I should say. I would ask you for your highlight of the season. Actually, that could be quite interesting because you have 4 race wins. So, what would be your highlight so far this season?
Well, it's tough to say. I think it would be in Monaco after I got my disconnect and came back and won the race and then lost the race because of the game glitch and got it back thanks to the organizers.
You're welcome.
That set the times right again. I think that was an up and down for an evening or maybe 2 days. Yeah.
Fair. No. So, I mean, how are you finding Division 4? Obviously, you yourself, you're doing very well, as is Jasper. What would you say? You know, what kind of challenges have you faced so far in the first 6 races?
After the pre-season race, I thought it would be closer between more people at the beginning. I know Slayer, for example, had some bad races, but he was quite fast in Australia and time trial and everything. Unfortunately, couldn't make Canada. Kieran, obviously, after our battle in Britain. But yeah, Mel Ryan was. I completely underestimated Jasper after the preseason race because he had a horrible race there. He wasn't on my screen for Australia, and after that he proved that I have to look out for him especially. But yeah, I was going into the season expecting to be D4 because I didn't touch the game for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I have quite a competitive top 6-7, and yeah, it's fun.
But so, were you expecting to be fighting for the championship coming into the season then, or what was your goal heading into it?
My goal was to league race and have fun.
Yeah.
And after what I saw in the preseason race, I was okay. I can go for the championship.
Yeah. So you've been aiming for this championship since the beginning.
Yes.
Like, yeah. Okay. Cool. Nice.
So you talked about not league racing in a while. When was the last time you did any kind of league racing before this season?
It was 1 year ago. It was in January 2019.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it was a little Sunday race league. Campbell was also there. That's why I know Campbell.
okay.
Yeah, and he posted end of last year that LOE is searching drivers for season 3, and that's how I came to the league.
No, cool. What league was you in? What league was it that you was with Campbell?
It's a Sunday league. It's a really small hobby league. It wasn't something yeah, but it was a fun league, and yeah.
Oh, is that what Morgan was talking about as well, Gary? SLL.
Maybe
same
actually,
thing?
might have been. Could be
Maybe,
actually.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Morgan was in that as well at some point. No, cool. And I suppose the question, you know, from D4's point of view would be, obviously you're doing really well. What obviously your goal is going to be to win the title this season, of course it is. But what do you think you do really well? What's your core skill? Because, for example, I've been in leagues where some people's core skill is raw pace or qualifying or race pace or whatever it might will be. What would you say is your biggest skill that's going to get you that title?
Maybe it's consistency in the race that I try. I know quali times. It's the consistency in the race after a good qualifying. I hope to extend my lead, of course. There, other than that, it's a difficult question. It's more. I always try to get high in the qualifying, of course, but if I'm not there, I just try to keep my head down in the race and stay away from the trouble. And that's, I think, is what many people don't do, and they are going for risky moves. And I will more back out of it because I don't want to damage my car or throw away my race.
Yeah. Well, I think you're at an advantage compared to other drivers in Division 4 because you've league raced before, you know what it takes, but a lot of people in D4 will be new and they don't usually see the bigger picture in the lower divisions. They see a move, they go for it, they crash. That's why there tends to be more crashes in the lower divisions because they're not as track aware as the higher divisions.
Yeah, for example, but we had it like in Australia as the first race.
Yeah.
I was on the hard tires and Jasper was on the mediums, and he was closing that gap more and more and more, and I was always telling to myself, he will lose the times faster than me because I'm on the hards. My tires go longer, and I try to keep my head down and not get any penalties and so on. And yeah, maybe that's my way of driving. Keep the head down and try to see the bigger picture.
That's it, yeah.
Ruthless German efficiency. That's not what people want to see. Like the last thing you want to be in a title race is against someone that sounds as calm and as calculated as you. You want to be up against someone like Gary, who's like calling people out and going crazy. Like out of anyone that I've probably spoken to on a podcast, I never want to be in a title race with you. You sound way too controlled.
He knows what he's got to do. He knows what he's got to do.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 28.
You're 28. See, that's even more dangerous. Look, he's an old mind. He's like me. I'm 31. Like, I am. Yeah, that's just a horrible combination. Jasper, Frank, I'm sorry, it's over. It's done with, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, but to be fair, Raj has won the last 3 races, so you're on a roll at the moment. What do you think? Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Canada and Spain, it was pure luck. That I won these races. Spain was pure strategy, and I think in Canada, I had the stream on my phone during that, and Brian was always telling me everyone has 3 seconds around me. Yeah. And I was like, fuck, I also have 3 seconds, and I got a time penalty in the last chicane, and I posted it in the highlights. When I won, I didn't believe it.
Yeah. Canada is one of those tracks where people get a lot of penalties. So, yeah.
Oh, well, fair. Well, look, I'm going to ask you some questions just about, and if you don't know the answer, if you don't follow them, don't worry. But well, first off, I'll ask you about real life Formula One. First off, do you follow Formula One quite a lot?
Yeah, I'm watching since 1997.
I wasn't even born.
Yeah, no. See, this is it. I mean, 97 was the.
My very first race I saw was a certain Jerez.
Oh, yes.
And as a German, I was a Schumacher fan, of course, but yeah, it ended the wrong way.
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic race. But yeah, no, okay. So I mean, with that in mind, who? Just going to ask you, who do you think's going to do all three things really? Who's going to win the drivers' championship, the constructors' championship, and who is going to be last, except Williams, in this coming season?
Last, I would say, is Giovinazzi and Alpha in general, maybe. Last season they weren't really good, and for the other two, as a German, it's Vettel and Ferrari.
Yes. See, I like this guy.
See, if Gary was a Ferrari driver, he would be Eddie Irvine. You can tell.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That sums him up quite well. Likes a beer.
Beer or two.
And
Never
Close
shuts
to the
up.
championship, but loses it anyway.
Whoa! Man, I liked you, and now
and
every
that
guest that's came on has shitted on me.
This is incredible. I didn't think this was brilliant. This is a perfect hat trick. And if you don't know, don't worry. Who do you think will win? And if you don't know, genuinely don't worry. But D1, D2, D3, and D4.
I think D1 is Alpha Trick's game,
Yeah.
but D2 and D3, I don't know the people so good, and
Hello.
I don't follow the races so much. Like I said, I watch D1 for my race always, and then I go into preparation for mine.
Yeah, oh, that's fine.
Cool. No, that's cool. I think that's and D1 is brilliant to watch with James. His commentary is really good.
Well, I love James, right? Not for his commentary, but his weekly drink that he has. Every week has a different drink. It's like it's become iconic.
It's like when AOR used to advertise the energy drink.
Yeah, James like, oh, I've got my Dr. Pepper, whatever, and just like, yeah.
To be fair, but no, look, genuinely thank you for coming. Any last minute thoughts or any last kind of declarations before we wrap this up?
Last declaration, I win this title, and I hope everyone D4 won't be sorry at the end.
I love it.
Oh, well, look, like I say, it's been a pleasure. And genuinely good luck.
Best luck, yeah.
And
Thank you.
now that I know that you're a fellow old man, I'll definitely be cheering you on. Apologies, Jasper.
Thanks.
Cheers, man.